Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I'm Mike Odom, and I'm joined by Jeremy Forbes. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Mike.
So we're coming to you Sunday after United's limp 1-0 defeat against Arsenal at Old Trafford. Jeremy, this is what, 7 points out of 6 games for United now in the Premier League.
It's ridiculous.
I want to start with Paul Pogba because he gave away the penalty with another pretty dumb challenge and was overall poor in my opinion. Not that anybody on the pitch for us played very well. What's your opinion of him? Because he's coming off of a game against Leipzig where he looked very good again.
Well, I think the thing that you have to take into account here, once again, like I have been a consistent kind of support in not having Pogba at our club anymore. I'm fed up with him. I'm fed up with his lack of consistency. I'm fed up with us keep giving him chances. I think this season, the best he's played is when he's coming off the bench, and then he almost is trying to prove something. So I would look at it and say, as a coach, if I was Ollie, I'm no longer going to start him anymore. You're only going to come off the bench until I can see constant consistency from you, week in and week out, whether that be on the training pitch, whether that be when you play, because he just seems to have that lack of that edge. And this is once again another foul. The last time he did it, it also turned into a goal, but it wasn't a penalty, but it still turned into a goal. When he fouls somebody with a careless, like Bellerin was not going to be able to get off a goal from that angle and from that position. And there was no one really in the spot that he was going to be able to cross it to. There's no need for him to do such a careless and reckless challenge. There's no need.
No, and I'm with you now. I've defended Pogba to an extent. I feel like he sometimes comes under more harsh criticism than he deserves. But at this point, you look in the past few weeks, he's flirted once again. Whether it's him or his agent or a member of his family talking about Real Madrid. This time it was him in particular. When he was away with France, talking about Real Madrid again. And when you do that, and you have other midfielders there. And Fred was poor today. Fred was excellent against Leipzig. He was poor again today. McTominay wasn't great. We'll talk about those two in a minute. Bruno wasn't great either. But those three aren't flirting with any other clubs.
Yeah.
Pogba's flirting with Real Madrid.
Let him go to a club that's in decline, even though it has a historic name, and allow them to further sink into the mire. I would love for that to happen. Go there and stink up with Real Madrid because they already stink like shit.
Yeah, and you look at aging players in the midfield. He wouldn't fare any better there than he is at United because he needs, as you've said in the past, he needs the excellent defensive midfielder next to him. Like when he plays for France, he has Conte in there. He needs that type of cover.
I'm starting to think more and more every day that he is the type of player that needs a full team of superstars to also look good. He is not a superstar that can make other players good.
No.
And we are right now are a team that needs players that's going to play together well and play as a team to make each other look good. We don't need somebody that needs a whole bunch of superstars to only then play well and to look like a superstar himself.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. I mean, and if you or I played at a team of superstars too, we'd probably look pretty good as well. So I think that's really a slap in his face and his overall ability as being a match winner. Because at this point, he's looking like a match loser for us.
Oh yes, definitely a match loser.
Yeah. So I think you or I could play in a team with the best 10 players around us in the world, and we would look pretty good, right? So if he needs that, then that says a whole heck of a lot about how poor he is.
And that's not what he's going to get with us right now. Maybe if he played with us back in the day when we had, Ronaldo and Giggs and all these other talented players, and he could look like a superstar. But right now we're rebuilding, and if he can't rebuild with us, we need to get rid of him or just play him off the bench.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think as far as I'm concerned, if you look at his performance against Leipzig, he looked like he was more focused, energetic with it. And today, he didn't look like he necessarily didn't want to be out there, but you could tell there was a lack of focus, kind of a slack ass manner in which he was
Yeah.
strolling around the pitch, running around, jogging around the pitch, especially in the first half. Like there was just a lack of purpose about him. And
Yeah.
you look at the match on Wednesday, he seemed to have a lot more purpose. So maybe
Yeah.
if you start him, maybe it's just in European matches. Maybe that's the only competition he really wants to play. And maybe he doesn't care about playing in the Premier League. He just wants to play in Champions League.
Yeah.
So just don't even bench him. Just leave him out of the 18 for the Premier League. And this transitions into my next point, which doesn't make any sense to me. Well, it kind of does, but at the same time, it doesn't. Ole seems to think that he cannot play Bruno and Van de Beek at the same time. What do you think?
I think he's ridiculous. I think as a coach, that's too one-dimensional. That's putting your players in a box that don't need to be put in a box. Even if they excel in a specific position, it doesn't mean that they're not going to play well in another position. I think holistically, it just shows how one-dimensional and how inept he is at tactical adjustments and changes. And I'll say this as well. Why in the world does he feel so much the need to change things all the time? If something worked really well, why not do it back to back and game in and game out? To see how the way we played against Leipzig, I would reward those players with starting them again, and then do the same thing if this is a team that you're trying to definitely win. Like, you can wear them down and then put on players that will finish them off. Like, if you've seen stuff that works, why change 100% what worked the last game? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's interesting you say that, because he did and he didn't stick with the same thing. He stuck with the same formation, playing that diamond. He did make some changes, bringing Bruno back in for Van de Beek was the main change, in my opinion. But this had me lost, because he had, against Leipzig, he had McTominay, who played so well at the base of the diamond. And you had Fred, who played so well on the right side of the diamond. And he swapped the two around today at the start, and they both looked lost in their different positions, especially Fred. That made no sense to me. If you find something that worked, you just won 5-0. And yeah, I mean, you had to make substitutions to ultimately get to that 5-0 scoreline, or 1-0 up before the substitution. Things were going pretty well. And you're going to swap those two out. I didn't understand that at all. Do you have any maybe explanation as to why you would swap Fred and McTominay out in those roles?
No, and I wouldn't have at all.
Yeah, I don't get it. That had me scratching my head. And to your other point, about him seeming to be closed-minded, not wanting to play players out of positions, back to Van de Beek and Bruno. Coming out in the second half, he went back to a 4-2-3-1 with McTominay and Fred as the two holding players, and basically Pogba playing out on the left, and that's left wing, which isn't really his position, and he ultimately concedes a penalty while tracking back, which he gets criticized for not doing. But yeah, when you track back, you got to do it smartly still. So yeah, he played him out there. I'd rather see Bruno play out on the left and then have Van de Beek in the middle, or vice versa. I don't understand his seemingly, like you said, basically closed-mindedness, where he doesn't think he can play those two at the same time, but he thinks he can play not Bruno, but Pogba with either of them. I don't get it.
No, I think in this case, we're going to continue to have this topsy-turvy thing, and I think inevitably he will end up getting the sack here soon. Whether I believe that is what should happen or shouldn't happen, I believe it's going to come, because in no way, shape, or form are they going to continue to see this type of performances in the league. Even if he is pulling off dramatic wins in the Champions League, they're not going to want to see this in the league. And they will also know that the only way that they're going to be able to continue to have European football is to, be able to get into the Champions League or Europa League next year. So the league is going to be way more important, because I don't think our board really feels like we could win the league this year, win the Champions League this year. So you're not going to play with a manager that's only winning in the Champions League, sadly to say.
Yeah, I mean, well, if he does only win in the Champions League and he wins every match in the Champions League, then we'll win the Champions League and we'll qualify for the Champions League again next year. But yeah, I think I agree with your general point that
Yeah,
that's not really
yeah.
a
But we also know that's not going to happen because at the end of the day, right now, he does have another monkey on his back, which is semifinals. For whatever reason, he seems to get it all wrong at semifinals. So if you're only playing to win the Champions League, inevitably he'll probably muck it up at the semifinals. So because of that, then you would have put all your eggs in that basket and you would have completely and utterly missed out on doing what you know you need to do, which is getting back into Europe next season through the league.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think like there was probably a 10-minute period early in the second half where we raised our tempo and Arsenal looked there for the taking, and then we dropped off again. I think there was just an overall complacency about us, and it was similar. It was a very similar performance or watch to me as our match in the first day against Crystal Palace, where we just kind of went through lackadaisical. There wasn't much movement. And that shouldn't be the case at this point. There's no excuse for, not being match fit. And we just played a match where we were excellent. Well, maybe not. Well, we were pretty good against Leipzig.
But see, and then you think about that as well. In the game against Leipzig, he wasn't really taking off likes for likes. In this game, he was. It's not making any sense, Ollie. It's not making any sense what you're doing at all. Like he wanted to win that game, or / he wanted people to get playing time in that game without taking out people that were doing well in that game. So if you're going to do that again, if we're trying to win this game, don't take out people that are doing well in the game and change them out like for like. Like bring in more players that are going to help you win the game and take off players that are playing badly, whether their position that you're going to have them slotting into is idealistically what you feel is their best position. It doesn't matter. You need to win the game and have the most best amazing players that you can on. I would have loved to see Mason Greenwood left on, still have Cavani in there, but pushing up at the top, and then have Marcus Rashford coming off the wing, just like having Greenwood coming off the wing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, he could have taken off Pogba instead of Cavani. Yeah, I mean instead of Greenwood for Cavani at that point. I totally agree with that. That's an excellent point because I praised Ole for these first two Champions League games for wanting to go out there, seeing the match. PSG where it was 1-1. He saw the match was there to be won. He made the positive changes to go forward and push and get the winner. Against Leipzig, we were 1-0 up. He saw us potentially being able to bring on Bruno, bring on Rashford, and push and put that game out of sight. This game, you're right. He did the like for like crap, and it's like he didn't have any adventure to try and go and win it.
Yeah.
And at the time, I believe we were. I think the second two substitutions were made after we went behind. But at that point, so the first sub I get with Matic coming in for Fred, doing a like for like there, potentially. Yeah. But then after we're behind, it makes no sense to do that. You got to go for it.
You got to go for it. Even if he's had a slightly as not efficient game, Bruno makes more sense with us on the pitch than Pogba. So don't take him off. Leave him on there. He wants to help us get goals. So even if he hasn't been playing up to his normal standard, which he usually does, don't take him off. Pick off Pogba, who, like you said, if we're going to be in a position where defensively we're trying to, find a way, he's not going to help us anymore.
No, I was shocked that Pogba stayed on when he made those final two changes, considering he gave away the penalty. Even if he didn't give away the penalty, he was not good at all. And no. There's little indication in his history as a United player where he's not playing well that he'll get it turned around and offer a moment of quality. No, it usually just keeps going downhill. Bruno, in games where he's played poorly, you leave him out there because he has at times given us a moment of quality to get us an equalizer or a winner late on, even in games where he's not really at it. So, I would have liked to see Pogba and McTominay actually removed for Cavani and Van de Beek at that point.
I would have been happy with that. And one other thing, if we're just talking about this game, granted we were poor, I do feel like there was one other thing that could have been done and the call wasn't made. And when they did the replay, I did think there was enough there to do it. and Matic was adamant, and I feel like I understand why he was adamant. That last thing there with Gabriel, I think that could have been a second yellow card and a penalty. Like, he did not get the ball at all, and he did get Matic.
Yeah, I mean, he slid across to block the cross, and he kind of did, but it was an awkward challenge where he slid basically right into Matic's legs. And we've, of course, seen them given for that. But I think at that point, Gabriel shouldn't have even been on the pitch anymore. He should have been sent out. He should have seen a second yellow when he hauled down Greenwood out by the corner.
Oh, yeah, and he was just trying to give him a chance because he had already quickly gave him a yellow card before. No, you don't try to give him a chance. That was another cardable offense.
And Holding, another center back for them, also committed to cynical yellow card challenges, but only came away with one yellow card. So, I mean, when I saw Mike Dean in the center, I expected this, though. He's just garbage. Yeah. I mean, he's been garbage for us. He's been garbage against us. He's just not a good referee at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the challenge you're talking about could have been a penalty. But overall, in the day, I thought we were pretty poor. And Arsenal are getting all these plaudits on being great. And at the final,
they didn't really do anything either.
No,
they didn't do anything that game. They didn't do anything, in my opinion, to win that game.
The 10 minutes where we pushed them, they looked like they were going to crumble, and then we stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. That was the thing. Like, 10 minutes we pushed Palace, and we got a goal out of it, and then we stopped. We were still a goal down. We ended up conceding a third. But and then this game, it was 0-0 when we were pushing them. They looked like they were going to crumble, and we stopped. Like, you should have the energy to keep going for longer than 5-10 minutes. I mean, especially when they just strolled through the first half, and I don't know. It was it's a very frustrating watch as a United supporter. But I thought Arsenal were not that good, and they celebrated at the final whistle like they had won the Premier League. I thought that was
embarrassing. They hadn't won at Old Trafford for so many years. Like,
I don't care
to let it. I'm just saying that's probably why they celebrated. But it was such a disgrace for how we allowed them to actually even get that win. Like, there's no way that they deserved 3 points for that game. A draw, I'd give them that, but not 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really create any clear-cut opportunities other than the penalty.
That's not even a clear-cut opportunity.
I mean, that's a gift bestowed upon them by Sir Paul Pogba. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was embarrassing the way they celebrated the final whistle, because you won on a ground you haven't won at in 14 years, but you did it without the 75,000 people that would have been in attendance otherwise.
Yeah. And in a way that, for whatever the pundits wanted to say during the match, it wasn't actually very convincing.
No. I mean, I thought both teams were equally poor. I thought Partey in the middle played really well. I thought he was the best player on the pitch, but as far as everybody else for Arsenal, nobody. Aubameyang was garbage for much of that game. Lindelof had him pocketed. I mean, if Lindelof has you pocketed, then you're not having a good game.
Not very much, yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't. I didn't think they were. Everyone's like, oh, they were deserving of the 3 points in the end. No, they were deserving of a point easily. Yeah. But.
Point. So I'll give our team this much: for as much as we didn't play well, at least I would say De Gea and the defense, they did their job, what they were supposed to do, more or less. And our midfield let us down. Mm-hmm. Our attackers really weren't able to do much because the midfield let us down.
I think that's a perfect summary to sum up the game. I mean, and I think our defense has been great over the past couple of weeks since we came back from the international break. They've responded to the bell. De Gea has been good. And yeah, the midfield today, I mean, it was great against Leipzig. It was great against PSG. I thought it was good against Chelsea. They just were dreadful today and provided nothing for Rashford and Greenwood. So that's it. The curtain's now closing on the theater of football. I want to thank Jeremy for joining me on this Sunday, even though it was a United defeat.
I was so disappointed. The first time I was able to actually sit down and watch a match for the longest time, to watch a full match, and this is what my club gave me. I was just like, Jesus, maybe I need to go on a hiatus of not watching again.
Yeah, you might want to sit the next couple of games out, Jeremy.
At least Premier League games. Sit them out for sure.
Yeah. You could maybe sneak in the game against Istanbul. in midweek. But
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
yeah,
I don't know
next week,
how badly we're gonna be able to mess that up. So yeah,
next week against Everton, you might want to just find a quiet place
yeah. Find a quiet
to not
place,
watch
but not
anything.
yeah, not pay attention to it, not pay attention to one football, and just then later on watch a replay on my on my computer.
Yeah, yes, and I'm sure
Now,
that you.
now I will say this about our next game, and I know you know you might do a pregame about it later on. I would make some wholesale changes, and I would let Henderson get a game between the sticks. I would also let Cavani start up front, and bring back in Van de Beek and of course Martial because he needs to get some game time. Because you know we still want him to get back firing on all cylinders.
Mhm.
I would once again not play Pogba at all. I would either not play him at all or start him on the bench, like you said, to get him to get his head back into. You're at this club. If you're trying to make this club great, you need to stay focused because right now what you're doing just isn't enough for us.
Nope.
I would reward him with a start, but definitely maybe bench or no play at all. And yeah, go from there.
Yeah, I would actually agree with everything you said with the changes to the team there. And I would put Pogba on the bench. I wouldn't let him have a free pass and miss a trip to. Wait, no, this game is this. Yeah, this one goes. We're going to Istanbul. This week's the trip to Istanbul, right?
So
So
take him for sure.
I would make sure he's on that plane and force him to go to Istanbul and
Yeah, and sit on the bench.
go to Istanbul and sit on the bench. You're not going to Istanbul to play or to start.
Yes, yes.
But
I
thanks,
think I
Jeremy.
think I think we just need to become co-managers and kick Ollie out because we definitely do a better job.
Yeah, you'd be bad cop. I'll be good cop.
And the board should want us because then they're going to get to pay less money.
Well, that's the thing. If you want to get, and this is a whole topic for another time, but if you want to get into a discussion about Ole's salary, he's actually a very an economical option when you look at our past managers, whether it be
Yeah.
Mourinho and all Moyes, even Ferguson. He's taken a lot less salary in a lot fewer years. So I think he's got a year and a half left on his current contract. So,
Mm.
he may be out the door and not even get the sack in a year and a half. So
Mhm.
just run down his contract and leave. Who knows? But
Yeah.
that's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
Jeremy, thanks again for joining me. I'm
Yeah.
Mike. Let us know what you think about today's performance. Probably not much good if you're a United supporter. On Twitter at Theater of Football. And for Jeremy, I'm Mike. Thank you for watching. Take care.
Much love. Love Man United. Bye.
Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.